an enigmatic priest believed to have mystical powers that changed the fate of Tsarist Russia. Peasant Emperor of Russia Grigory Rasputin. Grigory Yefimovich was born in the Siberian town of Pokrovskoye in January 1869. Since then, his father, Yefim, has not been very interested in his education. Unattended child, he begins to pay more attention to his friends at school, even to girls, rather than reading, writing, or even education. Other families try to keep the girls away from him, but Gregor starts to follow different houses from outside at night. That's why the villagers call Gregor Rasputin. Rasputin is a word used at that time meaning vagrant or pervert. In fact, Gregor also adopts this name, which he continues to use throughout his life. Pokrovskoye town is a town in Siberia, which is actually located between the passageways of the monks' pilgrimage routes. Yefim invites these monks to his home and welcomes them for a few days. They even have religious conversations throughout the night. As the years pass, Gregor gets older and overhears these conversations, and the abbot among the monks notices the glint in Gregor's deep blue eyes and gives him a hand. During these conversations, Gregor learns a lot from the abbot and other monks. At first, he actually gets information about making antidotes and various poisons, that is, potion-making recipes and potions. So what does this mean? In a way, he actually gets various information about medicinal plants in nature and also learns fortune-telling techniques. Yes, Gregor also learns from the monks and abbot his ability to put words together, to connect words in mysterious ways, and to arouse the curiosity of the other person. Here, Gregor's line actually changes after that. Although he can't find many fans in his village, his destiny actually changes with the healing of a horse. It is said that Gregor Rasputin healed a sick horse with one touch. The rumor that he had a divine power spread from language to language in the village and spread all over Siberia in a short time. At the end of the 19th century, it began to no longer fit in Siberia. His supporters multiplied and his target was the capital, St. Petersburg. Rasputin started to gain fame especially from 1903. Many people came to consult Rasputin. He even bought a new house near the Moika River. He was taking visitors home, acting as a medium, hypnotizing with it, treating patients. Many of them he could not actually cure, but their failures were quickly forgotten. But their success was described everywhere. The year 1903 was actually a bright year for Rasputin. He met the Grand Dukes, met their wives, began to treat them. He even participated in demon summoning ceremonies with them, and so Grigory Rasputin was now in St. Petersburg became a well-known name. Rasputin's adventures in St. Petersburg were adding to his reputation over the years. Because he started to establish a good relationship with the high society and became a well-known psychic all over the city. But on the other hand, many groups, especially the Bolsheviks, believed that Rasputin was only a charlatan. When we look at it, Rasputin was a figure who knew how to put the pieces together very well and had a high foresight. With that, Rasputin was going to go to the Tsarist palace, where his fame would skyrocket. From the beginning of the 20th century, Russia was going through hard times. In 1905, the Bloody Sunday incident occurred and many civilians lost their lives. The throne of Tsar Nicholas II was shaking. From 1914, the First World War began. Unemployment, economic troubles, popular revolts were giving various signals that Tsarist Russia could no longer stand. But the Tsarist family might not have been able to read and see these events very well. And of course, Tsarevich, the son of Nicholas II, had hemophilia. doctors could not cure hemophilia. Because there was no cure for hemophilia at that time, and probably doctors were giving him aspirin as a treatment. Here, at the suggestion of Father Theophan, the Tsarina invited Rasputin to the palace. Rasputin soon replied, "God has seen your tears and heard your prayers. Do not be sad. The little one will not die. Don't let the doctors deal with him too much," said. Rasputin's first advice was not to take any medication as soon as he saw Alexei. And he prepared several different herbs and gave his own antidote to Alexei. Of course, when Alexei stopped using aspirin-like drugs, clotting occurred in his blood. Rasputin's proposal had somehow caught on, perhaps with great luck. Because Alexei was getting better since Rasputin saw him, and this actually affected the Tsar's family especially and the Tsar. Rasputin's treatment of Tsarevich Alexei more than once actually gave him a say in the palace. For the Tsarina Alexandra now regarded Rasputin as a saint with supernatural powers. She was doing almost everything Rasputin said. Especially after 1915, when the second Nikolai went to the front for the First World War, the square would now be left to Rasputin. Meanwhile, there were many reactions to Rasputin, both from the Duma and from the ministers. Rasputin was not a popular figure. In fact, he was in a very powerful position in the palace as he was only Alexei's healer. However, it is known that he held different rituals in his own house many times, especially after entering the palace, hypnotizing women in particular, and forcing them to have sexual intercourse. Of course, the women's husbands were also hostile to Rasputin day by day. However, Rasputin was now in the palace under the protection of Tsarina Alexandra, and he was using it very well. Rasputin goes to Pokrovskoye town during these periods, comes back and is exposed to assassination attempts many times. But of course, after every assassination attempt he survived, they began to believe that he was a little more immortal. Until the end of 1916. Prince Felix Yusupov belongs to one of the important noble families of Russia. Rasputin was coveting his wife, too, and now the last straw had spilled over for Felix Yusupov. And here on the evening of December 29th, Felix Yusupov invites Rasputin to the Moika Palace, which is located on the edge of the Moika River and is used as a museum today. Rasputin predicted that he would be killed or even suffered an assassination attempt, because he went to the palace by drinking the antidote. Cyanide wine and cake would be served to him at the palace. He ate the cakes, drank the wine, just glanced at Felix Yusupov and said the wine burned my throat. However, there was enough poison in the wine and cake to knock down even a bull. But Rasputin was not dying. Finally, Yusupov fired a shot at Rasputin, knocking Rasputin to the ground. While they were trying to check one last time, Rasputin suddenly jumped up from the ground and grabbed the short Felix Yusupov's throat. Yes, Rasputin wasn't dead, he was even resurrected. Rasputin, who did not die, easily opened the locked doors and started to run away from the house. Finally, Purishkevich neutralized him by shooting him in the back. However, whether Rasputin died or not was still unknown. Now they wanted to secure the job. Felix Yusupov and his crew tied up Rasputin and threw him into the frozen river through a hole drilled by fishermen, near the Great Petrovsky Bridge. Rasputin was bound when he was found, but his right hand was open. So Rasputin was probably alive when he was thrown into the water. He took his right hand out to clap. So this means that Rasputin did not die from the bullets thrown or the cyanide pastes and wines given, but he died by drowning. Although he is seen as a charlatan by most, Rasputin had an important place in the last periods of Tsarist Russia. The rights he held, the parties he organized, especially the parties with a sexual content, left a great mark on the last period of Russia. In fact, the penis of Rasputin, whose sexual desire and power is inexhaustible, is also insane. It is on display in a museum in St. Petersburg. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.